Why the US depends on foreign drones. Imagine this. America decides tomorrow that it doesn't want to depend on China for drones anymore. Sounds simple, right? Stop buying Chinese drones, start buying American ones. Problem solved. Except, there's a small problem. America has spent years buying some of its most popular commercial drones from overseas. Police departments use them, firefighters use them, farmers use them, construction companies use them. People inspecting power lines, bridges, and buildings use them, and the company sitting at the center of this story isn't American. It's Chinese. DJI. Reuters reported in late 2025 that DJI was selling more than half of America's commercial drones. So America now finds itself in a pretty awkward position. It wants fewer foreign drones, but millions of dollars, years of training, and entire working systems have already been built around them. And yesterday, Washington made its next move. On August 13, 2026, President Donald Trump announced new tariffs on imported drones and their parts. Some imported drones will face a tariff of 100%, but there's an important detail here. That does not mean every foreign drone suddenly gets a 100% tariff. The highest rate applies mainly to drones weighing more than 25 kilograms, drones with thermal cameras, and some sensitive parts. Many smaller imported drones face a 25% tariff. Some products coming from close American allies can receive lower rates. And this tells us something. This story isn't really about a flying camera. It's about something much bigger. America has looked at an industry that could become extremely important and realized that too much of it grew somewhere else. Think about how drones entered our lives. At first, they felt almost like expensive toys. You bought one, flew it over a beach, shot some beautiful video, put it back in the case. But quietly, drones became working machines. A firefighter can use one to look at a dangerous building without sending someone inside. Police can use one to understand what's happening before officers reach a scene. A farmer can inspect acres of land without walking through every field. A utility company can examine equipment from the air. After a disaster, crews can look at places that may be too dangerous to enter. A 2024 congressional hearing estimated that around 1,400 American public safety agencies were already using drones. And when those organizations were shopping, Chinese companies had something extremely attractive. The drones were capable, they were easy to use, they were available in large numbers, and most importantly, the price made sense. That's how dependence usually begins. Not because somebody holds a meeting and says, "From now on, let's become dependent on another country." It happens one purchase at a time. One police department buys a drone, another sees that it works and buys the same one. A farmer buys one, then another farmer. Repair shops learn how to service them. Pilots learn the controls. Businesses build their work around them. And suddenly, changing brands isn't as simple as changing your phone case. You are changing an entire system. Now this is where Washington became nervous. Because a drone isn't only a camera with propellers. It can know where it is. It can collect images. It can fly around important places. And depending on the model, it can carry sensors and communicate with other devices. That raised a very uncomfortable question inside the US government. What happens when technology used around American infrastructure comes from a country that Washington sees as its biggest strategic competitor? In January 2024, the FBI and America's cybersecurity agency warned operators of critical infrastructure about risks connected with Chinese-made drones and sensitive information. Now, be careful here. That warning doesn't mean we can simply say, every Chinese drone is secretly spying on America. That would go further than the evidence. DJI has repeatedly challenged the security claims made against it. The actual US government argument is broader. Washington is saying even the possibility of losing control over an important technology supply is a national security problem. And after watching Modern Wars, drones no longer look optional. They look essential. Ukraine changed this conversation dramatically. The world saw relatively inexpensive drones being used for surveillance, targeting, and attacks on a scale that would have sounded strange only a few years earlier. Suddenly, a machine costing thousands of dollars could influence what happened to equipment worth millions. That changed the calculation. America's military began asking a very basic question. If a major war starts, how many drones would we actually need? Not a few hundred, not a few thousand, potentially enormous numbers. In late 2025, the US military announced plans backed by roughly $1 billion to support the purchase of about 340,000 small drones for combat units over 2 years. And now the problem becomes obvious. A country doesn't achieve drone independence just by designing a great drone. It has to manufacture huge numbers of them, again and again and again. That means you need factories, motors, batteries, cameras, controllers, small electronic parts, repair parts, and people who can assemble everything quickly and cheaply. China spent years building exactly that kind of manufacturing world. America didn't build the same commercial machine at the same scale. And here's the strange part. America absolutely has excellent drone companies. Some American drones are extremely advanced, especially for military or specialist work. So the question isn't, can America build a drone? Of course it can. The real question is, can America build hundreds of thousands of affordable drones with a secure supply of parts without leaning heavily on overseas factories? That's much harder because even an American drone can contain parts whose supply chain stretches around the world. Washington itself has acknowledged that American commercial and military drones still rely on foreign sources for important components. So putting an American logo on the box doesn't automatically make the whole supply chain American. And that's why the latest tariff announcement matters. The government isn't only trying to make foreign drones more expensive. The proclamation also allows the Commerce Department to create a program encouraging companies to move drone manufacturing and component production into the United States. In other words, the message isn't simply, "Don't buy that drone." It's also, "Build this industry here." But there is another side to this, and this is where the story gets uncomfortable. Imagine you're a small police department. You have a drone that works. Your officers already know how to fly it. Replacement batteries are available. The camera does what you need. Then Washington tells you that the country should move away from that supply chain. Fine, but what replaces it? And how much will that replacement cost? This is the gap America has to solve, because banning or taxing the cheaper option is much easier than creating an equally good alternative at the same price. And if the replacement costs much more, someone pays. Maybe the police department, maybe the farmer, maybe the company, maybe eventually the taxpayer. That's why this is not a simple America versus China story. It's a transition problem. America wants security without losing affordability. It wants domestic factories without waiting years for them to reach scale. It wants American companies to compete, while foreign companies already have huge manufacturing ecosystems behind them. Those goals don't automatically arrive together, and Washington has already started tightening the door. In December 2025, the FCC blocked new foreign-made drone models and important foreign-made drone parts from receiving the normal approvals needed to enter the US market, unless they qualify for exemptions. But drones that had already received approval didn't suddenly become illegal to own or fly. Then came more scrutiny, and now, the tariffs. One restriction changes what can enter the market. Another changes how expensive imported products may become. And government programs are trying to build an American alternative at the same time. You can see the strategy forming. Reduce dependence. Create demand for American products. Give domestic factories room to grow. Then scale. At least, that's the plan. But here's the question nobody can answer instantly. How long does rebuilding an industry take? You can announce a tariff today. You can change a purchasing rule tomorrow. A factory doesn't appear on Wednesday. Suppliers don't magically become competitive on Thursday. Manufacturing knowledge is built through repetition. You make thousands of products. You discover what breaks. You fix it. You make them cheaper. Your suppliers improve. Your workers get faster. Customers give feedback. Then you make the next generation better. China has already gone through years of that cycle. America is trying to accelerate it, and that is why the title of this story is not "Why America Can't Build Drones." It can. The more interesting question is, how did the world's most powerful technology economy end up worrying that an increasingly important piece of its future depends too heavily on factories outside its borders? Maybe the answer is simple. For years, drones looked like another commercial gadget. Buy the best product at the best price. Nobody expected a flying camera to become part of a global security competition. Then warfare changed. Technology changed. Relations with China changed. And suddenly, the same supply chain that once looked efficient started looking risky. Now America is trying to reverse years of dependence without breaking the businesses and public services that grew around those foreign products. And a 100% tariff on some drones makes for a dramatic headline. But the tariff isn't really the end of this story. It's the beginning of a much harder test. Because making foreign drones expensive is one thing. Building an American drone industry that is affordable, competitive, secure, and large enough to replace them is something else entirely. And that is the real drone problem America is trying to solve.